The fight between Genos and the Sea King was one of my favorite scenes in all of One Punch Man, and it wasn't until I really fully animated Goku vs. Saitama and gained a full appreciation for animation that I realized when I watched back how intensely difficult it was to create this quick scene. We're going to break that down for you guys right now on today's
Animation Breakdown.
Welcome to the Animation Breakdown by Mastar Media. This is where we actually take our favorite scenes of animation and we show you frame by frame how that animation was developed. For the sake of the animation breakdown, I'll do the whole clip, but the part that I really want to focus on is this, where starting right here, where Genos is flying in hyperspeed towards the Sea King. Just this little part. Okay, so let's go to the beginning. So we have a picture here of Genos. This light, in order to do the lights, basically what you do is you probably draw it in white, or color it in white, and then you convert it to a symbol and then give it a glow, give it like an orangish glow. It may also have an inner glow, so you can give it an outer glow and an inner glow. It could be an inner glow is maybe a little bit yellow and an outer glow is a little bit orange, and that'll give it this energy light effect. The next frame, we have the background moving. So as you see there, just the background moves in that frame. And then we have, it doesn't look like a redraw. So what they did here is they drew this in layers. They're going to move this layer up. They're going to move Genos' head down. And I think they bring his shoulder out forward. Yeah. So it doesn't look like they redrew anything except they kind of changed his eye a little bit. And then the background moves in the next frame. And then we bring the arm up again. Now we have some electricity. The way we make electricity is the same effect as the glows as we did for this energy coming out of his arms. And it looks like they just moved his head down and they're shifting his eye. So his face is kind of getting more serious as he's going down. Background moves in the next frame. Now we have a big jump. Now this is a full, complete redraw. Now we just shift him a little in the next frame, which it could just be the camera shake effect. Now we have another full redraw. You can tell it's a full redraw because the energy lights on his forearm here are changing. Another shake, another redraw, another shake. Now it looks like they just expanded it. Maybe this, they took this and then they just expanded maybe the energy lights. So sometimes you'll take an old frame and you'll reuse it in the future, but it happens so fast that your eyes don't really see it. And you can also doctor that frame up a little bit so that it looks slightly different. So now another camera shake, now we're increasing the size of a lot of the layers. We're increasing the energy glow effect. Another shake, another increase, another shake, another increase, another shake, another increase. And now it's the energy is coming off. So he's kind of like at the pinnacle of his power right now. So electricity is going to probably start flying off here. Yeah. So that looks like a symbol. Okay, so this is a symbol right here. It's a two-frame symbol with the energy like this, and then it expands on the next frame. And then what they do is they empty a couple frames, and that is the symbol. So it'll have the lightning, couple frames of nothing, and then that's the end of the symbol. So since it's repeating, you'll basically have the lightning coming out like every half a second. So now they're even changing the lightning more. Wow, this is really incredible. They're lifting up his hair. So the way you can lift hair like that is, since it's vector art, you can literally just pull the lines out. So if I click this and drag it and click and drag it, I can pull the lines out. That's one of the ways that they have hair shift and move up. It looks like they're redoing the electricity now, since it's really supposed to be sparking out and flaring. And that's another way that you can emphasize power. So he's still growing. Electricity's still changing. His hair is still changing and going up. Okay, now we get to the scene that I want to go to. But, I mean, you saw how, that was a ton of work just for this. Was like half a second. Right? But it looks awesome. It looks like he's like really charging up and about to pulse, like about to burst. And like now he's flying at the guy. So we start with a very close-up view. You can't even really see. I guess this is his arm and his legs here. Next frame, he's turning. Next frame, Okay, yeah, so it is his arm. That's his hand, and it's zooming out while he's turning, which is really, really impressive. And now his arm is pushing him out to emphasize speed. And this is a symbol which has a slight alpha, meaning you can see through it, and a slight orangish glow, as you can see here. And that's how they're emphasizing the flame energy. Now we get these are all complete redraws, by the way, guys. So again, we're shifting the body, and this is a single frame. This is a full redraw for a single frame. We're changing everything in here. Absolutely everything is changed in here. Again, same exact thing. Every single piece of this entire picture has changed from scratch. Again, and this is why this is the most incredible piece of animation I've ever seen, is because this thing is something like 72 completely redrawn frames, including the landscape. Now, typically in really intense, incredible action scene, it's just the characters moving. The thing that makes this particular scene interesting is that not only did they redraw the character once 72 times, but they redrew the landscape 72 times. And let me tell you guys, drawing landscapes is extremely difficult. It's very, very tough, and it's very time consuming. And that's why this week we have awarded the animation breakdown to this scene from One Punch Man, Genos versus the Sea King. Let's continue. Now we get another redraw, and we're shifting the camera angle around. We're increasing the size and the shape of the flame. We're adding some new color elements in it to show more fire. And you can see his foot here looks a little blurred. So probably what they do is they just highlight this area, they turn it to a symbol, and then they give it a blur. And that's, again, supposed to show speed. Okay, again, here you can see fragments of him are blurred. Same thing here, redrawn landscape. The flame is flying back as it's pushing him. And this looks like it is, that's a full redraw. I thought it wasn't a redraw, but it is. You can tell by his face shifts, his leg shifts, the shading on his shirt shifts. Let me see if now it looks like the landscape may not necessarily be a full redraw, but may just be a size change. And this is a complete redraw from every perspective. Now look at this perspective here. This is just incredible perspective art. So starting here, you guys are going to start to see some really interesting stuff, because this is where it gets really amazing. First off, we have these cracks in the ground. We have the direction is pointing down basically to this slightly over to the left of this crack in the wall. Very soon we'll see the Sea King appear right over here, because the wall here is going to be turning this way, like kind of in a downwards right motion, and Genos is going to be flying in an upwards left motion in order to show the camera angle changing. Additionally, all of these little lines and pillars and everything will be shifting to the right as they're doing a 360-degree camera angle shift, a change of not only the characters but the landscapes here. So let's keep going. Complete redraws of the landscape, of the characters, of the special effects, every single frame. And there's no wonder why it took them 12 months to do 12 episodes of One Punch Man. Next frame. So it looks like they actually may, it looks like they're just shifting the background, but they're not. They're redrawing, because look at these two pillars here. They change. It's a complete redraw of everything. It kind of looks like they, actually maybe they may have just pulled this image left instead of redrawing the whole thing. So what they could have done is kind of cut this in half and then put the anchor point right here and just kind of pulled it to the left like that. And that may have been how they do it instead of a full redraw. And so you can see the ground is also going to be shifting very fast to a left slight upwards direction. And complete redraw, all new special effects. The walls are moving to the right, the ground is moving to the left, the ceiling is moving upright, and there's a shadow here which is changing. Genos is going to start to look really blobby now, because this is something I've explained in my last animation breakdown. In these super high frame rate scenes, you don't need a lot of shading and you don't need a lot of detail, because it's 1/24th of a second. Your eye does not pick up on it. You just kind of need the figure with the right colors in there, and your brain will think that it's still high detail. Let's keep going here. Now the ground opens up here. Okay, so you can see the ground is now it's shifting up to this direction, but it's also pulling back in order to show the speed. I mean, how can you have to be like the most insane engineer or have the most crazy brain in the world to be able to think of stuff like this? So the ground is moving up and to the left, but simultaneously it's flying towards the screen. So Genos is going to be flying up and kind of hovering around here. The pillars are going to be continually pulled up and to the right. Let's keep going. Now the ground opens up because that's the crack we just passed here. So now we're at the crack because the ground is flying towards us. Genos is changing. The flame is changing. The pillars are still moving. Now since they're getting closer to the screen, they're redrawing the pillars with more detail. Now we're flying over the crack. I'm sorry, I'm getting a lot of text messages. Flying over the crack. Now we're going into the crack. Now we're coming out of the crack. Now this opening in the wall is starting to get detail as we're getting closer. And we're flying forward. And the shading on, even look at the shading on Genos. There's a little bit of gray here. Now look at the next few frames. Even the shading is changing to show the rotation of his body. Now his leg comes out. Now we have more detail here. Now we have shadows on this hole in the wall. We have blurs over here on this pillar to show speed. I mean, this is just insane. Like, it's just every single one of these pictures must have taken for like hours to do, and there's 72 of them. It's just mind-boggling. And this is for a like 2 to 3 second scene. It's like a 3-second scene, and it probably took them like 3 weeks to do it. But that's why One Punch Man has phenomenal animation. Let's keep going. So now this little black blob here is the Sea King. So he's going to come into focus. We still have the same movements of all these different levels of the landscape. And in every frame, Genos is turning. He's twisting. He's going to do like a spin kick. And now as we get closer to our object, more and more details are going to start coming all over this thing. Okay, so now you can even see the Sea King here is moving. He's walking slowly. And Genos is still flying around. Now we're starting to get really close. Now the details are increasing like crazy. So this is the first really good detailed picture of Genos here because he's getting close. And we have a big blur here. We even have shadows now of Genos on the ground. I mean, to be able to get this kind of perspective, they must have taken video. They must have like walked through a big hallway kind of thing, a sphere-shaped building like this with the video camera and just recorded it, and then literally went through frame by frame and just kind of traced or mimicked the way that it happened. Because I seriously doubt it and don't believe that there's any way you could create this yourself. There's just no way. Okay, so well, he's got a really big butt cheek there. Some more details, keep going. Okay, now we get to the good stuff. So now we have some really awesome perspective, really awesome detail. Sea King's dark shadowy body has come into light now. And Genos is flying towards him. Genos disappears here. Oh no, you can just see his face. So first Genos is super far away, and then he flies so far up to the screen. Now he's like literally off the screen. And now we have new frames and redraws of both the Sea King and the landscape. Now we even have some blurs here to show his movement while he's walking. Now he's going to slowly turn his head. I mean, look at the detail on this. I mean, look at the freaking detail. All these lines on this thing. That stuff takes forever to draw. And for 1/24th of a second, absolutely mind-boggling. Again, same thing, some more blurs that kind of shifted on the place of his body to show him twisting. And his arm comes towards the screen, all redraws, all new shading. Again, same thing. The blurs are now up here. This could just be, that could just be a resize there. Nope, that looks like full redraw to me. And now he's really close. And now his face is turning. All redraws. We have some blurs around here, which is really interesting how they blur different little portions of his face even to show his face turning. and to emphasize that movement, because sometimes with animation it's really hard to have your movements look fluid, and this is one of their techniques that they do. They probably have their special effects guy go in after all this stuff is drawn and they ask him, hey, make it more fluid with any effects you can. This is probably his job. He probably goes through and adds effects and does things to every frame to increase quality. Now he's getting real close. Full redraws, even for this tiny little shift, that's a full redraw. I mean, you know, there's a lot of blur here, but look at his nose especially. You can see it changing, and he's going to slowly start changing his face towards the screen. And then we got a big kick in his face. It's very blurry. And now he's flying to the left. The foot is in his face. Now this is that a redraw? No, I think, oh shoot. Man, sorry guys. Okay, and now we just have some zoom out. Okay, so this isn't a redraw now. This is a symbol. As you can see, the characters are staying in place. There's a symbol for his clothes, which are repeating movement of this cape, like flapping. So it's probably like 3 images in repetition. And then Genos' hair is also a symbol. And then these lines are probably also a symbol for the next half a second. And they'll just keep repeating every 3 frames, which is very common animation technique. And it goes to black and then to white. This is something that Dragon Ball does. I do it in my animations, is to show a really big impact. Right before the impact, you'll have the screen flash black and then white, sometimes black, white. And use like 4 frames for black, white. And that, for some reason, your brain like picks it up. You don't see it, but your brain picks it up, and it like adds to the damage of the attack. And then boom, so now it's going to feel like the kick is super strong. We redraw all this speed, basically, effect coming out. We got some blur now, camera shake. Speed effects are gone now. There's like spit coming out everywhere. And now we have a lot of camera shake to show the power of that hit. Even some energy lightning is coming out of Genos to show the energy of that kick. And now we even have some redraws here. You can see this hand is moving down and this face is moving left to show that like he got hit super hard in the face. It's twisting his entire body, and I'm sure Genos is probably twisting as well. Yeah, even Genos is twisting as well. Well, Genos got punched in the face there. And even more lightning, more twisting, a ton of redraws for all these twists. A ton of redraws. The background is static. That's fine because they just impacted. It was like super speed like this, and they hit and it's shaking and it's twisting their bodies. So the background doesn't need to move, but what they need there is a lot of camera shake and slight redraws of animation to show that their bodies are twisting from the impact of that hit. So that's the end of it. Can watch it again full speed. I mean, unbelievable amount of work for approximately 4.5 seconds, and that's just including this Genos part, which takes up the most. I mean, if we start right here, it's like maybe 3 seconds or less, and let's watch it again. See that? Happens so fast, and the amount of work that goes into that would blow your freaking mind. Thanks for joining Animation Breakdown. If you guys don't know One Punch Man, you need to watch it. It is one of the most incredible feats of animation ever created. And I'm Mastar Media. I will talk to you guys soon.